In this lesson, we're going to be discussing how to route traffic between VLANs. Remember that each VLAN is usually its own separate subnet, so you need something to send packets between them. In this case, we'll be doing this with a router on a stick configuration. Up until now, we've been talking strictly about Layer 2 networks. To get traffic from one layer network to another, of course you're going to need a network layer device. In the past, this was almost always a router. However, today Layer 3 switches usually perform this function. Regardless of the device, however, they're all network layer. On the last slide, I mentioned that we were going to route between VLANs using a router on a stick configuration. Let's explain what that is. A router on a stick divides up one physical interface to a router with multiple logical interfaces. In this way, you can route from one VLAN across a physical interface to another logical interface and to another VLAN. Let's take a look at the next slide to see how this is done. Here you can see that the FA00 interface on the router is divided up into multiple sub-interfaces. Normally these sub-interfaces correspond with the VLAN that they're going to be routing for. So for instance, the FA00.1 would be VLAN 1, FA00.2 would be VLAN 2, and so on. It's important to note that these sub-interfaces must be configured with .1q encapsulation. We'll see how to do this in the configuration in the next slide. Here's a configuration that you might use to set up a trunk link that would route between the two VLANs. Notice that we set up interface fast Ethernet 00.2. .2 is a subinterface that we'll be using to go to VLAN 2. The interface has an IP address on the subnet that the VLAN belongs to. Also very important is the encapsulation .1q2. The 2 is the VLAN tag for the VLAN that you're going to be routing. If we had another VLAN, say VLAN 3, we would use a different IP address on VLAN 3, and we would use encapsulation .1q3.